Hello and welcome to another episode of Workplace Wizards. This is episode number 36, the C behavior style. That's what it's titled, the C behavior style. And what do we mean by the C behavior style? We're talking about everything DISC. We're certified in everything DISC, and my partner, Gavin, is also certified with human behavior styles, and he works with DISC model as well. So without further ado, let's bring on Gavin Wong. Gavin Wong, how you doing today, sir?
I'm good, my friend. I'm good. It's getting late over here, but in the UK, as you like me to say, all the way over across the water. But it's good to see you.
It's getting late over there, Gavin. What time is it?
Well, it's only 7:15, but it's late.
Oh,
It's
that's
getting
late for you.
dark. It gets dark here about 4 o'clock now, so it's quite dark at the moment. So
Okay, probably
it
probably
feels
getting
late.
close to your bedtime.
Close to my bedtime. You get to my age. Actually, I've passed my bedtime. I'm normally asleep by about 2:30. Have a little doze on the sofa.
All right.
That's
Well,
what
Gavin,
happens.
well, today's title is the C style behavior, the C behavior style when we're talking about DISC. And DISC is basically a where we have four quadrants, and there's a D behavior style, I, S, and a C. And today we're going to talk about we've talked to quite a few in the past about me being a D and Gavin, you being an S.
Mm.
But today, let's get us outside of our comfort zones and let's talk about another behavior style. So if a person is a C behavior style, let's say, for instance, there's people watching our podcast that don't even know what DISC is or doesn't even know what do we mean by C. How would you describe a C personality style?
So when we talk about styles in DISC or any other kind of behavioural assessment, these normally tend to be preferences. So people will work in a certain way and prefer a certain style.
Right.
And C, and it depends on the name changes from different areas, but it stands for compliance or it stands for conscientiousness. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And we tend to use the term compliance, but I think what do you use over in your way?
We still use compliance. We use
Okay.
mostly conscientious, and we also use calculating.
Calculating.
Well,
Yeah, that's
let's
interesting. Yes,
let's
yes.
use calculate. Yes.
And all those three work because they can just kind of it's calculating and complying in the sense that people who are high Cs are motivated by rules and regulations. They
Right.
like procedure. They like to do things right. They don't like it when they make mistakes or there's any kind of conflict. So for them, the world is very much um, this is the way we're meant to do it. And
Okay.
and why I think and you say it's a bit out of our comfort zones because I'm a low C. I don't. I'm not overly compliant because I'm a bit more flexible. But actually, my wife is very highly compliant in terms of
Oh,
her behaviour style. So it's
okay.
quite interesting sometimes because we get a little bit of rub in terms of how we'll do things. So it's quite interesting sometimes.
So yeah, like my wife is an S, so but
No,
that's on
okay.
another spectrum. That's another
Yes,
episode.
yes,
So let's
yes.
talk about this C style. What if you're in the working environment, and how can you predict that somebody or not? I'm sorry, let me change that. How do you tell when somebody's comfort zone is tending towards that C level? You'll find that person, it's when the individual wants to follow the rules. They
Hmm.
want, if you give them something to do, they want to know the statistics, they want to know the facts behind it,
Yeah, yeah,
and they want the rules and the regulations, and they're
yes.
sticklers for that. And sometimes as a D, we find that a little bit sometimes unnecessary delay
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
they want to check things once, not twice, but sometimes three times. They want to make sure they do it right. Because
Yeah,
another thing that they fear is mediocrity
yes,
or the
yes.
fear of getting things wrong. You
Certainly,
know,
if getting things wrong. Yes, yes. I'll give an example of that when you say you work with people. So I said my wife is a high C, and as you know, could we discuss it before? We're moving house, and we're moving house actually in a few days' time.
oh
But
boy.
oh boy, I know this is why there's boxes everywhere. And what's interesting, and we've had to do it work together like this, but occasionally we've had to write emails to solicitors or lawyers and estate agents or whatever you call them over there. And so we'll sit down and we'll write an email. And I would like write an email in about 30 seconds. But of course, Natalie, she'll want to write it and look at it for about 2 hours. And I'm saying, just send this email. Send this email. No, I've got to get it right. Got it. So this, so this is like, and I know I should be more, because I'm aware. I know that she's high. That's how she wants to work. That drives me mad. Drives me mad. So this is quite difficult. And at work, obviously, you've got some people who are very much, not so much a computer says no, because that implies it's a negative thing. Actually, being compliant has its real benefits. But you need to understand why someone is like that. Okay, and if they're being driven because they rules give them guidance, it tells them what to do. If they do it that way, they won't be wrong. For someone, that's quite important, and that's
Right.
why and if you've got someone who is a high C, who's one of your leaders or managers, the way they're going to manage you. It's going to be
Right.
very much about enforcing those rules,
All
making
the
sure you're doing
compliance.
things properly, making sure you're complying. Okay,
Yes.
whereas someone else who's a high D just doesn't care. They just want the results.
Wait. What? I just don't care.
You don't care how you get there, maybe,
Okay.
but you are more worried about the results. And of course, you're not. There's only one. There's not just one style. There'll be a nice bit of caring aspect to you as well. But but actually, what drives them more isn't so much results, but actually doing things properly. So
Well, also, Gavin, I think that you also find that the C's they're very stable. And
yes,
if they're in an environment, and sometimes
yeah,
they like to work alone,
yes,
but when they're in an environment where they feel like they're given the proper time to do the work, you can
yes,
almost guarantee it's going to be done very satisfactory.
yes,
You're gonna
yes.
be very satisfied with the results of what was done and the task that you've given them to do.
Mm,
You're gonna find out that you do it very, very well.
yeah, I
And
think that's a really
you
good point. Yes,
and
yeah, definitely.
sometimes to the point of being perfectionist. And that could
Yeah,
be that,
yes,
that's a good thing, but it also can be a detriment to the rest of the team because
mhm,
you're trying to be perfect when we need to get this done.
yes,
And that's sometimes where they rub other human behavior styles a little bit. They rub them a little bit because they
mhm,
want to get something done. They want to
mhm,
just, hey, let's just have the fun, let's have the party. No. We can't do party until we
yes.
have A, B, C, and D done.
Yes, and I think
So,
that's really good because we might, because sometimes we look at people who are high Cs in a derogatory way. We call them jobs worths, or the computer says
oh,
no
wait, you
type
call them
people.
what?
Jobs worth, job worth,
What's
a
that?
jobs worth. Obviously, a jobs worth is someone who has to follow the rules and won't go outside of the out of procedure. Okay, or for
Okay.
them, if they've got to, you ask them to do something, if the policy is no, like the computer says no, that's it. Okay, and they struggle to go outside of that. So for a lot of people that can actually be quite frustrating. But if you understand that's what's driving someone, then it becomes a little bit easier to understand and
Mhm.
to accept. And it's not saying it can be easy, but for some people it will be easier to accept that's why they're doing it. But if you know that's how they behave, as you've described really well, is that, well, actually, if you're asking them to do something, you need to make sure they've got time and space to do it,
Right.
because they will do a really good job for you. But don't do it because something takes you, like an email. An email takes me 30 seconds. Don't expect someone with a high C to do it in 30 seconds as well, because that's
Right.
just not fair. So you need to accept that they're going to take longer, but they'll probably do a better email or a more accurate email than the one I've done. So there's a time and the place, isn't there? But you need to understand that and the environment you need to allow them to work in.
I got another question for you, Gavin. Do you find this type of individual to be emotional or non-emotional?
Um, well, that's an interesting one, actually. Well, I guess it depends on the circumstances, because I guess if they're making errors and are making mistakes and fear that kind of conflict, that's an element of emotion there, isn't there?
Yeah, because I would have
So-
never said that.
ah,
I would have never said that. I would have went with an
okay.
individual who's usually a C has that tendency to be unemotional, where
Yes.
they don't get their
Yes.
emotions involved in a lot of things. It's by the books.
Yes.
It's black or white. It's
Yes.
that it's no gray areas
Yeah.
where they don't. So it's very unemotional the way they navigate.
Mm.
And here we go again. I'm not saying that anyone's painted into a picture. We're talking
Mm.
about, like Gavin had stated before, we're talking about individuals that naturally go in
Mhm.
this direction. It's not that they can't go any other direction,
Yeah.
but their
Yes.
natural
Yes.
tendency is to follow a certain path, and you'll find that generally within each of the behavior styles.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's actually a good point because, yes, I think you're right. I think C's tend to be, because they're logical people, the logic part of the brain is working.
Right.
So the emotional bit, you're right. I think that is true to say that, or accurate to say that they're less emotional. But I think if they're not under control, they're not in control, and things are outside of the procedure or the policy or the way it should be done, I think there is a danger then that they can become emotional. So it's as you say, there's no kind of yet. It's not binary. It's one or the other. But I think the way they work stops them from being emotional because that's just how the brain is
Interesting.
working. But if it goes wrong,
Interesting.
then there's a chance. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I love that. And like I said, we're going to keep our podcast really short. We want to stay within our 15-minute time frame. We've always kept our podcast that short. But we have a lot of stuff that's coming up in the new year, and we want to talk to you a little bit about that before we go today. And you can look forward to having us. Gavin and I are going to put on a couple workshops where we're going to do some trainings in this everything disc model and give some people some insights on how to work better together despite whatever human behavior style that you have or anyone else has. So that way, where you're building better relationships at work. So we're gonna delve into a little bit of that in the new year, and we're looking forward to you joining us to one of our workshops. We're gonna continue on with the podcast. We're gonna have some coaching, individual coaching, and we're gonna have a major leadership workshop seminar series that's going to be coming out in 2026. So we look forward to seeing you guys and look forward to having you guys join us on the podcast, on any of our streams, and our workshops will be done on Zoom. So that way we can get as many people in there and try to get you guys to contribute and give your HR perspective on what we're doing. So that'll be it for the day. We're going to say goodbye.
Goodbye, season. Greetings, everybody, and I will speak to you in the new year, Smalls.
All right, sounds good, Gavin. And we're saying goodbye from Small World Solutions. And if you want to reach out to us, please call us at 754-971-7007. And we'll talk to you then. Bye for now.
Cheerio.
It's not ending.